at the opening of the exhibition 15 Years of Red Dance, graphic image of the festival over time. The reason for this exhibition has offered by itself. 15 years of organization of the festival and 15 years of more or less voluntary work. In this time, more than 15 posters and graphic images have been created by artists such as Antja, Shrimer and Dragana, Rajković, Zvonka Simčič, Tanja Vujinovič, team Phant&Puntza, Leigh San Juan, Baraga, Nives Marković, Ana Čigon. Especially it's necessary to mention legendary posters drawn and created by Anna Ehrlemark for over 6 years. The first one in collaboration with Igor Hofbauer. In an unpredictable future, as we when we struggle to make a living from month to month, we didn't want to wait for the 20th anniversary, so we decided that Red Dance deserve an exhibition now. With us here now are two vital members of the Red Dance Festival team, Nataša Serec and Hvala. Without which the festival would not have been what it is today, if or may even not exist. So Nataša Serec, a president of Kut Mreža, a co-founder of Red Dance, graphic studio Metatis, co-founder of the resident studio Azil, and the leader of project office for sound and light at cultural and artistic events. And Hvala is a writer, journalist, critic, and art organizer. She has been facilitating in other worlds, workshops and collaborative writing of queer feminist science fiction since 2008. Her recent co-edited books include Svetovi drugih and Rdeče. She co-hosts Sektor Ž, a monthly feminist radio show, and has been co-organizing the International Feminist and Queer Festival Red Dance since 2001. Her work mainly deals with the research on social equality and public minorities. I hope I described you two okay. Yeah, and many more. So, first question, Nataša, for you, the beginnings. You and in the interview in the book Rdeče, you are saying that you and Dragana Rajković, with participation of Alcatraz Gallery and Urša Tuman, organized the first festival in 2000. Can you say a bit about the atmosphere at that time? Why and where did the idea came from for the organizing such an event?
Thank you, Daniela, for this nice introduction and invitation. At the first time I have this pleasure that I don't need to work almost at all, at least until Saturday, and to be as a participant at the festival. Yeah, Dragana Rajković, she was very much engaged in the feminist lesbian group named Cassandra, and she was my friend, my good friend, and we would, on the daily basis, we would come and visit each other in our offices, and having nice chats and debates, and so one of these nice nice breaks developed into the idea of a festival, because at that time, 2000, you have to know that Metelkova at that time it was on just overcoming really dark period. It was kind of ghetto, like kind of Bronx, and a lot of violence, drug dealings, burglaries, and so on. And that time situation started to change, because the institution Retina took over some work for Metelkova, also negotiating with the municipality and so on. And it wasn't very nice and very secure environment, and at Metelkova to start with the festival. And but we said, why not? There was Soros Foundation, they will give some money, as they anyway at that time always have. So, and yeah, and then we just came out from idea that, look there, we are all girls and women here at Metelkova. Look there, Gala Khala has a club, female club leader, Channel Zero. Ursula Toman, she was very active and very productive sculptor at that time. Me, Dragana, and yeah, also Marica was already there, starting with this club. However, and then we decided, let's show up. Let this time we will expose ourselves. We will show to everyone how much we are capable, and and what female artists do here. And then then it just happened. This first little tiny festival. And I remember it was really funny. No audience at all. Only organizers and of course artists and maybe some boyfriends participating to support us. So it was kind of, yeah, like really tiny start. And from that period, yeah, this is maybe another question. I just wanted to talk about the poster, the first.
Maybe we can talk about this like a bit later. I have a question.
We'll forget. Maybe I will forget.
About the first one you wanted to tell. Okay. No, because that you don't forget.
The first one you never forget. May I? Now there is a first poster with this red fruits. I don't know how it's in, probably kaki, because it's in Japanese, coming from there, I guess. And so it was
persimmon.
Huh?
Persimmon.
No. My Japanese friend told me kaki. No, however, Dragana and Antja Shrimer, they were lovers at that time, and they made probably one of their first trips to Kras region, and there they took this photo. Probably they rented a lovely room, and they brought this fruit inside. They got a plate, and then they put this a fork inside kaki, and then they realized that the shadow is the shadow under the fork, and then they created another shadow, and it looks like the feminist sign, and it is a little bit invisible. See, because we were too shy, to expose ourselves as a feminist. they will kill us. Better to say female festival. So that the idea of first festival, I clearly remember that it was from this story.
How did you first begin with the work? Was a way of organizing different then from what is now, because also in this book Rdeče Rasajo, you mentioned that you had to invent everything from, I quote, design to selection of participants and the program, to composition of the team, including volunteerism and internationalism, end of quote. And you continued that this organization is in one way something special. Why do you think so? And can you explain a little bit of how the team is composed and and everything about how it's organized? The beginnings, maybe.
Okay, internationalism, because there were no enough, for example, bands here in Slovenia, that you can't always have the same Slovene one band, female band on each festival. So internationalism, because we needed, to invite somebody from foreign to play, to participate, not only music-wise, but also visual artists and other activists. From then what was volunteerism, of course. How it's you see, 15 years after, we are still volunteers in this project, and it was necessary. Without money, you can't do differently. And special. Why I said special? Why I said special? But probably because of this this idea and this. Solidarity and demandment to this group and idea is so strong that it's involving more and more volunteers. For example, this year you've told me we got 25 new only for the festival. Who will deal with them? We'll manage to organize, but it's wonderful, and I see every year more and more volunteers we are involving. And
what about the structure of the of Radon's team?
Yeah.
Was it like it's now from the beginning?
Yeah, it's always it has been always like this. Organizing, participating, doing PR, doing cleanings, doing entertainment for guests, everything in one group, and also many times performing and having exhibitions, doing the lovely posters and so on. And it's also this clever journalist before said, she somehow knows about us, and she said, yeah, but I see that you have always new people responsible, so you have this practice that they are coming as volunteers, working 1 year, and then they are becoming organizers. And I think this is like really special, that everyone who show interest and of course some skills and knowledge can become the organizer and
more involved.
Yeah, more involved and very responsible.
Thank you. I would go back to the graphic image, the posters. Tanja, maybe the question for you. On which basis have you been selecting the graphic image through the years? I don't know, you've been almost from the beginning involved in this part of the festival work. So
I think actually, if I remember it correctly, that we usually looked in our closest surrounding, like our friends, artists who were or were not involved in Metelkova also, and asked them if they would draw the poster or design it. And it was not like open, like call or a competition. We did this later. In the beginning, not really, if I'm correct. So the only idea that was persistent was that we tried to invite different designers, like annually. But then if we liked somebody a lot, of course we asked them again and again to do it. And
you're talking about Anna Ehrlemark.
Yeah, not only. I mean, Zvonka made 3 flyers. I mean, 3 posters, but the first 2 she made, I think we didn't have money to print posters, so they are very tiny flyers there, but in color. So yeah, and then actually, I think in the beginning also, because we had this approach, we never said, okay, we don't like this, we don't want it, so we accepted it as it was. But then later, like, as the team got bigger also, like, there were also more discussions about what we actually want to have on the poster. And this is also connected to the fact that the concept and the subtitle, so to say, or the definition was changing. So, like, for example, the first festival was called Festival of Female or Women's Creativity, and then gradually, like, we realized maybe this is not the best description, because, I mean, female creativity can be, like, anything, so to speak. It does not, like, imply any political, maybe, consciousness or progressive idea, and can be used also for, I don't know, like, just anything. So gradually, you know, when we maybe felt confident enough to call ourselves feminist and name the festival as a feminist one, we also started to pay more attention to the like the selection, but actually until the first open call was only 3 years ago, with the poster, like the third from the right up there, from Nives Marković. That was when we received more contributions, and or am I wrong? Was it earlier? I don't know. I think not.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yeah. So, so that we will actually choose from more people. Yeah.
Maybe a question for Nataša about this visual image. Is a choice for the graphic image any of these posters linked on some personal stories, or before you mentioned changing the name of the festival? If you may be remembering some points.
I would like to tell stories about 4 posters. This one with the Barbie doll and the rat. We already at that time involved, was 7th edition of the festival. We already involved Anna Ehrlemark. She has been living in Slovenia, otherwise she is from Sweden, and she was together with very good visual artist Igor Hofbauer from Zagreb. He's the most probably well-known because he was designing poster for Club Močvara in Zagreb. And he just came, you know, once to Ljubljana, and he showed us this sketch with the Barbie and the rat, and we said, oh, yeah, can we use this? Yeah, I thought so, but I was too afraid to offer you to you, you know. Yeah, let's do it. And then we went for this idea, and Anna did the rest, the design and the website, like this. As you see, I think it shows, you know, like kind of against, you know, female who should look like Barbie doll, you know, acute with the consumption and the fashion and so on. And there is this Metelkova rat, you know, the symbol of Metelkova is a rat and eating this Barbie, tearing her apart, kind of a little bit parody. And then Anna's first individual poster is this for the 8th edition. This actually taken from one contemporary Japanese artist, but totally changed. Yeah, there is a sunrise, and she told me, I asked her a few days ago, and she said there is no special meaning, but she wanted to make it really positive, something like really like cheerful, some design, you know, to present festival as more acceptable, so she said. And yeah, and this was really also I mean the first one who made really good, I think, success. We printed t-shirts also years after, and people would buy and wear also bags, and I think it's still very attractive. The fox, the 9.
Can I add something? Yeah. I don't know if you can see it from there, but this poster was actually printed in black and white because we were trying to save money, and we hand painted the red color. I don't know how many, but I remember I have one photo of a friend, Spela, who came to the festival like to see the events, sitting outside like in front of Mensa, surrounded by like 100 posters and like flop, painting. So it was a kind of nice, let's say, community project in the end.
Yeah, true. And there is this fox. I have to say that this is my personal involvement, my fetish, foxes. And okay, then we somehow connected this fox as a supposedly feminine, female animal, cunning animal, smart animal, coming out of many episodes we know from our childhood as a smart and always as a winner. And behind it's a little bit maybe kind of rough or what I would say, not fascistic, but a background, because it's actually this is the inside of the computer. This not very attractive what is in the computer, because Anna was referring to many computer workshops. Actually, at the first time we had so many computer workshops. What was the group? Gender Changes, if I remember well. And therefore is this fox inside. And she also told me something significant, like fox is coming into the system and turning, breaking the rules or something like that. Yeah. And then this 10th edition of this intersecting, how to say, figure, yeah. It was coming also from one of our, also at the first time when we had erotic and porn movies, XXX Until Dawns.
This was on the first time on the festival.
Yeah, this kind of program, and I think the idea was most referring to this. As we all know, there was never a concept. Now we do, one concept, but she took,
one part of the program.
Yeah. So there are these bodies and really juicy doing something, as you see, and you can't see the sex. There are breasts. There is something what is you can't define that. So that was also very successful. According to merchandise, we sold a lot of. we got really rich. We got money. We still can do it next 15 years. The festival. No, but seriously, a lot of these images, I think, increase the status or the image of the festival, and also, in this economical sense, that people would like to support not just the idea, but also because they liked so much the graphic design, I guess.
Maybe, did you want to say anything else?
Oh,
so maybe later. I would like to ask something Tanja now. Yeah?
Finally!
Give the mic. Tanja, I find it very interesting that over the years you never you don't use logo, like one logo which would be the same through the years as many organizations and even initiatives use. Was this intentional choice, or it happened because of some other reason?
Well, half, 50-50, because it's a fact that being such a small team and everybody doing everything voluntarily, in the beginning we did not really think about PR that much, like how to promote the festival. So we thought, okay, we made a poster, this should be enough. And we didn't really think about branding the festival. And we still, as you can see, don't. I mean, in the sense that we would have like one recognizable image throughout the years. But there is also a second argument that is related to what Nataša just said. About like being non-conceptual, and non-conceptual in that sense that we would not choose like one main topic for each festival and then subordinate all the content to that topic. And actually the main reason was also because we don't have the money to do it, because okay, if you choose a team, it means you have to look for the people who work on that team, and it means that you have to not only cross the national border, which anyway we wanted to have at least artists coming from neighboring countries if we could afford it, but it also means that you maybe narrow the definition of what we want to define as feminist contents, that it would be too narrow for us. Because you have to understand that a lot of people in the team at the time, and still I would say some people do not publicly say that they are feminists, because they have certain problems with this term, also because it's a stigma still. So we try to leave it open so that to the propositions of all the people involved, and also to invite those people who are working around us, the artists we were in touch anyway with. So in that sense, it was, I remember when in the introduction to one of the festivals, I wrote that this is a festival without a concept, because concepts are too expensive, we cannot afford them. Yeah. And maybe just one more thing that I remembered when in 2007, on the 8th festival, where the poster was Anna's with the pilot woman with wings. One of the people who came to the festival was as a visitor was also Rdeče from UK. And at the time she was researching feminist and queer zines, so self-published magazines, so to speak, and internationally. So she had an enormous collection of feminist and queer zines from all over, mostly Europe and United States. And I remember when she came here and she saw this poster, she was like, "Wow, this is incredible." And in the sense that it's very interesting how many not only feminist festivals but also queer festivals and lesbian festivals refer to the image of a female figure or feminine figure, let's say, with wings, as a message or as a symbol of hope for change. And so yeah, just that.
The next question is also for you. You mentioned this before, but I would like to ask once again, because I think it's important. In archives, I found out that in archives of the description of the festival, I noticed that you used the word feminism from the first year, actually. And that the festival was from the beginning anti-capitalist, non-hierarchical, and feminist oriented. But in 2006, on 7th edition of the festival, you named the festival from female to feminist and queer festival. Why did you feel the need to use this word and in the name of the festival, and where the need to include the queer content in the festival?
So as I said before, it was a process that had a lot to do with our own changing. And like maybe becoming more articulate, that through time we would, because of organizing this festival and of meeting all these crazy, brave, brilliant, genius feminist artists who had a very very defined position for themselves, they would define themselves very clearly. And I think that gave us the courage also and inspiration to use the word feminism and to relate it to very specific practices. So maybe also to distance it from what was left in Slovenia of feminism, let's say after 91, because what happened was that in the 80s you had a big, let's say, coalition of grassroots autonomous groups, also feminist ones, who were doing bottom-up organizing. And then with 91 and with pretty intense historic revisionism and demonization of everything related to socialism, including the concepts of equality and solidarity, and also with the money coming in from foreign foundations, a lot of the feminist groups in a way professionalized, and entered the NGO sphere and also entered academia, which of course was a fight also to enter academia. But what happened was that at one point this grassroots level disappeared because there was nobody to replace the people who professionalized, so to speak. So the idea from the start, what you mentioned, anti-capitalism and so on, was to try to organize an event that is grassroots, in the sense that when we talk of feminism, we talk in a way that can be related to everyday life. Because I remember when I was doing like interviews for this book about Red Dawns, a lot of the volunteers who are maybe, let's say, 10 years younger, like early 20s, who were at that time, they said their first association with the word feminism is academia, gender studies, which says a lot, I mean. And a lot of them said that only by being here, like meeting all these people and talking to all these people who are doing like all sorts of activist work and art also, that they said, wow, okay, so feminism is something that you can actually apply to everyday life. And they learned also to explain to themselves what it means to them, and also how to defend themselves from attacks and from harassment and so on. So in this sense, like, you know, feminism came at the moment where we're confident enough to when we felt that we can actually apply it to what we do. And queer came later, and actually the first one was the 8th one,
the 7.
2007,
yeah, okay. So I guess I play a part in that also, because like I often felt that like feminism is, at least here, I did not feel so comfortable in it, because it seemed to be only about like women and feminine women. And not being like that, I felt that there is actually not much place for people who are maybe feeling in between, or are masculine women or feminine men, and so on. And of course then it has to do also with sexual orientation. The fact that the collective in itself was mostly straight women, but then there were men joining, and also there was more like lesbians participating. And it felt as a term that could maybe cover this blank spot, and also open the space for as Anna would say, productive conflicts, because as you know, queer is not a term that's used in Slovenia, and there's discussions about why not, and why it has been also appropriated in a way that lesbian and gay people today sometimes use it to distance themselves, or to hide their identity rather than show it publicly. So it's a very controversial term, but we wanted to use it to open maybe space for also a progressive interpretation.
And again, encouraged by all the participants.
Yeah, again encouraged by the participants, mostly coming from Western Europe actually, where the term was used like in progressive initiatives. But mostly not together with feminism. It seems like two separate worlds. So yeah, it's in a way a provocation. Like,
Thank you. Nataša, the next question is for you. The festival, over the years, with two exceptions, is still organizing around 8th of March, the International Women's Day. Did you have any problems because of this over the years? I don't know, because of the weather and it was too cold, or because of the so many events which is happening around this day, or did you use this in a positive way, like connecting with other organizations, initiatives, some connections which wouldn't otherwise occurred?
No, at the beginning, I think it was in this post-socialistic times. I think it was. It was not anymore 8th of March so exposed. When as far as I remember, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I remember always when we would do Red Dance festival. There would be Helena Blagne in Sankaryev Dom and nothing else. And since years, they started with this commercialization of 8th of March. Also this Valentine's Day and this bullshit. But then they started also to really enforce events because of 8th of March, without any political backgrounds or whatever, only commercial. But we were like, I don't know, here.
So this like they did so many events. This is just these last years. It was not from the beginning.
No. As far as I remember, if my memory still serves me good, there were Red Dance Festival and Helena Blagne.
Perfect. Okay, I have. Did you want to? Okay, I have another question for you. During the 10th anniversary of the festival in 2009, you conducted interviews with the then organizing team of the festival, which you mentioned before. Rdeče, before you used these interviews in your master's thesis, where you were wondering whether it's possible to talk about the Red Dance in terms of counter-public, which you explained to me that it's considered to be an oppositional public or minority public, or just so you were researching if this is counter-public or it's just social space. And counter-public must satisfy two conditions, which you explained to me. It wants to be, if it wants to be public, firstly, on the inside, it must encourage the conditions for discussions that enables the participants to feel good, encouraged. Therefore, a safe space for discussion about the things which elsewhere can not even be thought of. Secondly, to convince other people why the discussion about this topic is important. And the social space satisfies only the first internal function, so according to political theory, it cannot be considered public. So I was wondering, what did you find out in this research with the interviews of the Red Dance team?
Okay, so maybe first,
maybe you can explain it.
Maybe first why I wrote about Red Dance for my master thesis, which was in gender studies, and Now, the thing is, like, I've been saying for about 5-6 years that I will stop organizing events because I'm sick of it, but I could never get away because Red Dance are too cool, the people here are too nice to go away, but also because we've been doing it for such a long time, and we didn't, like, always discuss all the topics that I wish that we would discuss. From maybe like from content to organizational structure, I missed maybe a bit more debate, like more arguments and conflicts, like that would maybe help us like change also, if necessary. And so it was a nice opportunity to approach each of the organizers, co-organizers individually, and have like 2-3 hour conversations about what they thought was most memorable, what was most controversial about the festival. But yeah, the main question was, did we, this collective, throughout the years, did we like manage to create a space both in physical terms, like physical space, and also a mental space, and where we, the organizers, the artists, and the visitors, most of all, I mean, who came to the festival, would feel comfortable, like where they would not have to all the time worry about defending their position from like just prejudice, and be harassed in the venue and so on. So that was my main question, like, did we manage to create such a space? And if we did, is that all, in the sense of like, is it is socializing the main point, or like does it go further in the sense that this space, and not only this space, I mean also City of Women Festival and like Lesbian Feminist University, the group, and the work of Škucelel, and all the groups that engage with feminist and lesbian politics and queer politics, I will use that word also, whether all of us and us as a little part of this, I wouldn't say scene, but maybe network, loose network, if we manage to like articulate issues that otherwise would not even make it into the public debate. I mean at large, like newspapers, and also if we have mobilizing power, in the sense that if there is like a crazy new conservative law coming out, or if like rights are being taken away from people, are we able like to contribute to the pressure and mobilize people to join either protests or like sign petitions or do something against it? Because I probably don't have to tell you like all the shit that's been happening in the last years, like from the welfare law and so on. Yeah. So this was the question, and the answer that I sort of summed up from all this like hours and hours of interviews with people was socializing space that is safe, comfortable. Definitely, yes, we managed. But like as a counter public space, in the sense that first, not only that we feel comfortable here, but that we also reach out and maybe contribute to public debates partially, because we are simply too small as just one little festival. But if you take it as part of a network, yeah, we do have like also the power to make pressure and articulate stuff that hasn't been publicly articulated here.
So you think this was 5 years ago? Do you think anything changed in these 5 years, or it's still?
Yeah, a lot changed, because I think for me the biggest shift here in Slovenia, maybe in the last years, is the beginning of protests 2 years ago in November, Stajniško gibanje, so to say, that started as protests against corruption in Maribor government, like municipality, spread throughout the country, because in that movement, or in that of people expressing dissatisfaction with the way things are, growing unemployment, a number of issues, it was like you had 10,000 people at protests. And what you could see was that these protests, yes, we are united on one theme, that is the Prime Minister and his coalition have to leave. But that was the only common point, because there was so many racist slogans there, so much sexism, so much homophobia, that a lot of people left, including me, the protests very upset, often. And in reaction to that situation, and also the tendency of certain groups and just of this idea that we all have to protest together regardless of the differences, you know, several groups were formed, new feminist groups, nič več brez nas, so nothing without us anymore, they're called, which is a group of feminists who were already active in the 80s and are today like professionally involved in, I don't know, from legal questions to welfare questions and working as professors and counselors and so on. So that's one group. And then ustajniške socialne delavke, the insurrectionist or uprising social workers, which I think is the most radical group ever to appear in Slovenia so far, explicitly feminist, and the name means, I mean, their basic like position, they are like a younger group, small group, a lot of them students of social work, and which is also probably the most kind of feminist informed faculty in the whole country. And they their basic claim is that as long as women have to do all the not only housework but affective work, care work, then until then we are all women are social workers, so to speak. So this is their basic idea, and they've been doing lots of actions in cooperation with other groups and so on. And then which another group? So the Female Scream Collective, which was formerly mostly involved in promoting like female DJs, mostly in the lesbian scene. They also started to politicize a bit more and participate in public debates and so on. But I think I forgot somebody. There's one more group, or I mean, there's Lesbian Feminist University, which has been active longer and does also really cool work. And was also present at the protests and was also always paying attention to the fact that we are not fighting for the same things, or we cannot fight for the same things if there is so much repression against, I will use the word minorities, within the protest movement. Yeah, and the links with Anarchist Info Shop upstairs and the anti-fascist movement also, I think, were made stronger, like with the feminist groups. But also before there was a lot of work made in this sense, like reading groups and also our cooperation, Red Dawns, with Antifa or with anarchists. We try to make it stronger by cooperating program-wise or at least space-wise. And don't forget, I mean, most of the posters are red and black, right? For a reason.
Okay. And the last question for both of you. I think that the fact that each year at the festival, large number of female artists or queer artists who are otherwise less visible present their works in this festival. I think this is a great achievement. What is, according to you, maybe you have the microphone here, so what is, according to you, the greatest achievement of the festival? Is this what you were also researching, or do you have some...
I asked everyone what they think was what was the most important for them.
So what about you?
I think for me the most amazing thing is that it's still here after 15 years, and in the way it's still here. This is what I love most, the fact that people fluctuate, so the organizing team is changing. What you said earlier, that people who maybe joined the first year to sell tickets and stand in the distro stand felt, I don't know, felt accepted enough or felt encouraged enough and not shut out, so that they would stay. So that there was not such a defined hierarchy or fixed hierarchy that the people who came last would always stay last, so to speak. Because a lot of the co-organizers that I interviewed are also involved in other initiatives, like local youth clubs, not only in Ljubljana, but in other cities. And quite some said they had this experience, that they joined a team, an organizing team, because they genuinely wanted to contribute and like be part of it, you know, of organizing events and promote certain ideas. And they said there was no way to come in because they would always be the how you say, in Slovene you say the girl for everything, right? You would do the tasks that nobody else wants to do, and you would be looked down upon. So very defined, informal, of course, hierarchy. And I mean, maybe also somebody else should say something about it, but I think it worked in that sense, that new people come and feel good and stay. And maybe leave to do something else, but it's like an empowering experience.
Yeah, this year and last year a lot of new women and men came and stayed, and I think this is really positive. Yeah. What about you?
So many men.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But, yeah, for me it's the same, totally the same as Taya said. Just that I would like to. The biggest achievement is this, that we have this kind of practice that everyone can join and help and have all open doors to continue the work and to learn and to get more skills and to get more responsibilities and it's really, I don't want to use this word democratic, but in our meeting is like this. Everyone can say their idea, the suggestion, whatever, and it would be accepted or debated about this. And I guess it is in my 21 years of working and here at Metelkova, I have to say that I've never achieved in any kind of group something like this, such a solidarity and this really open approach. And I'm really proud about. I'm the proudest about this festival, and also I'm really extremely happy that more and more people at the beginning are joining, groups are joining, and they feel welcome to collaborate with us, or they share the same ideas. And I know at the beginning it was really why we can't use that place over there, or why we cannot do exhibition in for example, but yeah, and also other clubs. Now I see that also there are some changes in other underground clubs, youth centers over Slovenia. Like this year we are collaborating again with Smak Cerkno, feminist small group inside this youth center. They are really pleased to collaborate, and there is a initiative coming from my birthtown, Murska Sobota, also, with idea to collaborate with us. And okay, this year we didn't manage somehow, but hopefully next year this idea will develop. And yeah, and the last, I'm really lost. what I have to say. It's so good, you know, that, you know, if, like Taya said, her reasons before, and I have also my reasons, you know, not to abandon, not to leave this festival to die, you know, because I cannot, or I don't have time, or whatever reason, to be so much involved anymore. But there are other people who I trust so much that I'm just amazed, you know, how everything is always super organized, and all this new and old volunteers are doing so well and really getting more and more professional, and it's great feeling. And I know that a lot of very good initiatives just died because the organizers, the seniors just said, no, we won't do it anymore. And I asked, why don't you invite young people to take over? It's a great idea. You are doing this so many years, and you have, it's important, you know, for the scene. Nobody's doing this. Why you don't give this to some other hands, you know? And they just don't. And I think this, we also overcome kind of, I don't know how to say, maybe kind of Slovenian practice, you know, that, I don't know, you know, that you are not, that you can give to, that you can trust, you know, and basically probably this is only because you said before, you know, that everyone is really welcome and who shows interest, and I hope, yeah, this will continue, and I think it will, because, you know, I was really amazed. This year, 25 new volunteers, Mama.
what we will do with them? but it's really...
I can only entertain them.
Okay, thank you, Nataša. Is there any question from the public, from you? Or comment? I don't know if the microphone is long, but okay, maybe speak up. Come here. I'm sure you want to ask something, Taya or Nataša, or comment something. No? Okay. Okay. So I would like to thank, because we are a bit out of schedule. I would like to.
This is normal.
Yes. I would like to finish this discussion and thank you, you, Taya, Hvala, and Nataša Serec for joining us here and speak about your experience and organization. And I would like to invite you to the opening in next door in Gallery Alcatraz on group exhibition. The name of exhibition is Through Her Eyes, the Flashes of Lesbian Feminist Production. And after this, maybe at 10, maybe a bit later, there will be 2 concerts here and DJ program afterwards. So you are very much welcome to stay and enjoy this evening with us. And also, every day we will have merchandise and books and a lot of other stuff. Also the book Rdeče, which we mentioned so much before. This will be also in Infotočka next door, also in Gallery Alcatraz. You will see when you go there. So lots of amazing stuff. So thank you and see you and enjoy the evening.